In this video, we are going to take a look at the quality of the trail data from 3 different government sources. First of all, COTREX, or the Colorado Trail Explorer, which is published by Colorado Parks and Wildlife, a part of the Colorado state government. Next, we'll take a look at data from the National Park Service, because this particular trail is in Rocky Mountain National Park. And finally, we'll take a look at some data from the US Geological Survey, or USGS. Now we're going to take a look at the Twin Sisters Trail. So what's unique about this video is, for the first time, I've uncovered evidence that not only is the data in COTREX very outdated, but even when the land manager, in this case the National Park Service, updates their data, it is years before COTREX updates the corresponding data in their product. Now today we're going to take a look at the Twin Sisters Trail. As mentioned previously, this is in Rocky Mountain National Park. And actually part of it that we're not going to be taking a look at is in Forest Service lands. To give you an idea of where this is off of Colorado State Highway 7, otherwise known as Peak to Peak Highway. To the north is Estes Park, and you'll see that right across Colorado State Highway 7 is Lily Lake, which is a very popular area in Rocky Mountain National Park. So we're going to take a look at, in particular, at these switchbacks here. And we're going to turn on some data from COTREX. This is publicly available. I downloaded it from the internet. And you can see we have some discrepancies here where COTREX shows these switchbacks extending to the north and OpenStreetMap does not. So you're saying, how do we know that OpenStreetMap is closer to the truth than COTREX? Well, I've ran this trail approximately 4 times this year, that's 2023, and countless times before then. And this is the GPS trace. This is from my most recent run, and you can see those more or less follow the OpenStreetMap depiction and omit these switchbacks to the north that COTREX shows. Now you say, maybe you are shortcutting. Well, let's take a look at what everyone else is doing. This is the Strava Heatmap, and we see that for the last year at least, all of these Strava users are following the trail as depicted by OpenStreetMap, and none are taking these switchbacks to the north as depicted in COTREX. If we turn on some imagery from Larimer County GIS Department 2021, we can see why. For those of you that were in Colorado in 2013, you'll recall in September of that year, I believe it was September 13th, we had an inordinate amount of rain all up and down the Front Range, and we had ensuing flooding, severe flooding. And one of the consequences was part of this mountain, as you can see here, was washed away. Trees and everything. This gully is about up to 20 plus feet deep. And so the trail at that time had to be rerouted. So the data in COTREX is over 10 years out of date. It is October 2023 as I record this. That flood was in September of 2013. And even if we turn on the USGS 3D elevation program, that landslide, mudslide shows up there. So let's take a look at some data from the Park Service. This is from the National Park Service, again, publicly available. I downloaded it just a few days ago. It shows up in National Park Service brown. I thought that was appropriate. And we can see that the National Park Service data is much closer to OpenStreetMap and what we believe, what I strongly believe, is the truth. And in particular, it omits these two switchbacks here to the north. Unfortunately for it, it still includes this switchback here, which if we turn on Strava, we can see nobody is following that. So the interesting thing about the data from the National Park Service, if we select that feature, it gives us a date, create date, 2015, September 18th. So since the trail was washed away in 2013, I presume that the Park Service is not going to create data in 2013 or 15 showing the old alignment. So this data has existed in the National Park Service database since September of 2015, and it's still not correct in COTREX. Let's take a look at data from the USGS. Shows up in a yellow with a green casing, and not surprisingly it matches exactly, or for all intents and purposes, exactly with the Park Service data because the USGS is hoovering up data from all these agencies. The reason it terminates here is because now that goes into Forest Service lands, and I just filtered out everything except National Park Service trails in the USGS data so that the software wouldn't get bogged down. But the interesting thing here is if we select this record, it also has dates, and it says source DA_1 NPS trails 10 of 2019. So the USGS has had this data since at least October 2019. It's now 2023 October, so COTREX is at least 3 years behind even the USGS. So in summary, we have some strong evidence here that even when the land manager that manages a trail updates their data, it can be years before COTREX updates their data. Further, we see that COTREX is in error and that both the data from the National Park Service as well as the USGS, well, closer to the truth, are also in error as they include this switchback here that no longer exists.